So welcome everyone, I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and this is the Unbound Sage, where I deliver out whatever message is waiting for you, the most important thing for you to hear from the universe. This message may come from your deceased loved ones, ancestors, guides, angels, my own psychic ability, my empathic ability, just maybe the universe or even your higher mind. Okay, we don't know where it's going to come from or what exactly it's going to be about, but I have set the intention for it to be the most important thing for you to hear right now. All right, so be open to whatever you receive or are meant to receive. You drop your $10 donation. If you are here on YouTube or Facebook, you can see how to do that in the description. If you are on Instagram or TikTok, you're going to see it in the comments section. Jill, my producer, is posting it, and she'll try to pin that the best that she can. Okay, so drop your $10 donation, and we're going to get started. Who's first? All right, Bethany. You guys are going to notice that I'm giving a message to someone and the next person up. You're going to see their name on the screen. If you want to see all that activity, go to YouTube at AskIvy. All right, so starting with Bethany Renner. Bethany, what's the most important message that I have for you today? You know, I do feel like there's a grandfather coming through here, mom's side of the family, who tries to embrace you and tell you to keep your chin up. I feel like you've been feeling overwhelmed, and it's almost like, look, we're here for you, but there's only so much we could do, okay? He comes alongside a grandmother, and as many times as they try to show up in your dreams, they try to give you uplifting messages, or they send you ladybugs or butterflies, or they try to make you laugh with funny memes. It's sort of like you can get into a real tunnel vision circumstance in your life where you're like, there's too much to do. I mean, what this looks like to me is burnout. When you're just done, you're overwhelmed and you lose your sense of humor and you lose your sense of the bigger picture on life, and you are just honed in to the workload and the inbox and all this unfinished business, these tasks that are essentially stealing your joy, stealing your light. There may be a need to rebalance here. So whenever you find yourself in that type of a circumstance, you may want to say, okay, is everything in my life really beneficial? Do I need to be participating in all of these different relationships and contracts and work investments? Are they actually pouring back into me? Are they filling my cup? What am I getting out of it? Am I in alignment or am I out of whack? And there's some stuff that needs to be put on the chop block, okay? Because something has got to give here. All right, Bethany, they love you very much. The next one up is Taishik. Taishik, what am I getting for you? I feel like you're trying to be positive. I feel like you're trying to roll the good in with the bad. I feel like you're trying to have an uplifted sort of high vibrational frequency about you that makes it look a little almost manic or a little bit hyper. I think this is a period of time for you to say, you know what? I'm done with that. I don't need to put in that much. I need to relax. I need to be in the flow. I'm going to be fluid. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to detach. I'm going to let go, let God. I'm going to let go, let the universe, whatever it is, okay, that you believe in. You're saying, I have done my part and gone above and beyond the call of duty, okay, from positive attitude to bringing my A game to seeing things through without a result yet. It's like, I'm good. I am going to sit back. I'm going to relax. I'm going to let the world go by. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to light up a cigar and have a martini, whatever it is. It's like you are ready to receive. And before you can receive all the blessings that you've karmically earned, you really need to learn this other part of it, which is to relax. Okay. Calm, cool, collected, and centered with your palms open and out. Gimme, gimme. That's all there is to it. Okay. So pull back, take some deep breaths. Thank you, Taishik. Let's move on to Ayana. Ayana, what message do I have coming in here for you? Seems like circumstances have been holding you back. You seem to be getting frustrated with them. It's almost like you're looking at these circumstances that you had been patient with in the past, and you're saying, now you're starting to piss me off. Now I'm starting to get agitated. But you can't really do a whole heck of a lot about it because that's what locked circumstances are. It is out of your control. It is beyond your efforts. So ultimately, what you need to be doing is being more introspective at this time. I would say for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks, and possibly for the next 2 to 4 months total. You need to be more introspective and say, okay, what in me is untapped? Where are the resources that I control that I haven't identified? How am I feeling like a victim in the world to the process? Okay, or a victim to circumstances outside of me, but I need to take my power back and I am serious about it. Where you cannot seem to get out of your own way and find the answers, call in your guides, call in your ancestors, especially your work and money guide, and say, can you show me how I can feel more empowered and actually be in a greater position of power out in the world to activate manifestation and law of attraction, and where I am pushing and pulling and I feel like I'm in a tug of war with circumstances that are beyond my control, help me to release it. Okay, help me to let go. And I think that you're going to see some upgrades, but it does feel a bit like you've got blocks and obstacles, some of them that you can release yourself from by doing this introspection, and some that are really bound to time, circumstance, and other people. When I talk about too many hands in the pot, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, free will, everyone has it. So a lot of people are involved in these circumstances. Either way, you're going forward mentally, energetically, if you choose to, and that will trigger some of this into action. Thank you, Ayana. We're going to move on to another one. Edgar, what message do I have for you? You know, I feel like you're being pushed. I almost feel like there's a spirit behind you, like pushing you to say something, pushing you to do something. It reminds me of being a kid on the playground and someone's like, do it, I dare you. You know, go do this crazy thing or start this fight or say this thing. And it's like, I mean, you are either going to be resistant to this. It reminds me of like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. You know, you're either going to be resistant to this devil and say, no, I am centered within myself. And when I know I need to say something, I will go ahead and say it. Or you're going to, you know, kind of admit that you're not sure if it's the right time to say it. Maybe there is no right time. I honestly feel like this is getting judged in an inappropriate way. Like we're looking at the circumstances too black or white. Where in the gray can we remain where we say, look, I'm taking a leap of blind faith. You know, it reminds me of the Fool card in tarot. It's like, I'm going to jump off this cliff. I don't know, but I'm going to just see where it lands. And so you may find yourself in a conversation with one, maybe even a couple different people where you feel as though you're supposed to say something. This could be moving forward with something romantically, for example, asking them out or leading into it. And it's almost like a do or don't, a do or die. Okay, go big or go home. You need to either say it or don't, because if you come weak, it's going to come off as exactly that. Okay, so go with the angel, go with the devil, and don't think that it has to be one or the other. It's kind of like the Madonna whore complex. You know, it doesn't have to be one or the other. What if it's in the gray? What if it's just up to you? Okay, let's see what happens. Let's toy around a little bit. I would. All right, Edgar, have a good time. CJG, what do I have for you? CJG. I feel like you're pouring out your heart, and I feel like you've been pouring out your heart, and this is symbolic of maybe sharing with people who quite frankly didn't deserve it. I mean, we don't have to go there today, but I wouldn't have, you know, like they didn't earn it. They didn't say it first or in a way that was consistent. They didn't give that love to you in a secure, patterned way that should have triggered all of this heartfelt release. You know, it was triggered from the inside, from a place of like nervousness or anxiety or a desire to have something or overreaching or control. And so you poured out of your heart before someone deserved it. And this happened over and over and over again in your life. And now you're in a period of time here, and this would have started ballpark a week ago. This is going to go for about, you know, maybe a month and a half, where you're looking at things, let's say, especially over the next 7 weeks in particular, and the last 3 weeks of that, you may have someone new coming in. So remember this message, but it's almost like, are you going to keep doing that? Or are you going to actually detach and make sure that before you give anything, I don't care if it's a follow-up text, I don't care if it's, you know, agreeing to go on a date, I don't care if someone says something very sweet to you and they expect you to say it back and you just sort of refuse, whatever it is, you know, anything that you're giving, from here forward, you really need to make sure that you haven't just learned these lessons about overreaching, but that you are ready to walk it out, because that's what the universe is going to be testing you in. And that's how you really can start to heal your heart. And you may recognize you're like, I don't really need a lot of healing in my heart. You know what I mean? I just need better boundaries. And it's going to feel almost like a high to apply it when it comes through again. And again, it'll be in that 3-week period of time. And probably from some old people that you already know before that, trying to get back in. Would not surprise me. Not today, Satan. All right, Maraid. What am I getting for you, Maraid? I feel like it's time to move forward, and it's almost like it's time to move forward very quickly. So I have both of your feet moving forward, but in this direction. Now, this direction is the future, but it's technically your free will zone. So it's almost like you're making some decisions from a place of blind faith. You are ready to take action. You may be taking more action also in areas like you don't know necessarily what the payout is going to be, but you are determined to get the best possible outcome. And this could have to do with your like health, nutrition, you know, working out, weightlifting, different types of classes that you may take, gym memberships. Maybe you're getting on with a personal trainer or something. You know, you buy a package, but it's like, I am going to reach that finish line come hell or high water. Now, as you're making all of these changes, some of them are more like calculated risks, and some of them feel a bit risky. I do think that it's the space that you're supposed to be in, meaning I do think that regardless, and be careful, but regardless of what you do, I do think the universe is just supporting that energy for you. Okay. So this is one of those spaces in life that we don't get all the time. And you're going to be in this for about 4 to 7 months, where it's like, no matter what you do, the universe is kind of treating you like a little kid who's learning something brand new. You know, you're getting props just for doing it. You're getting a certificate and an award just for contributing, you know, a participation award. And it's like, hey, I'll take it. Okay. So know that if you were to make some wrong moves, especially with financial investments, you would, especially where travel is coming into play, or any type of transportation, or even work expansion. Just know, should you need to change it up a little bit, the universe will support you in that process as well. So it's kind of like saying there's no such thing as mistakes right now. And that is beautiful energy. All right, Yolanda, what am I getting for you? Yolanda, you have some people coming through watching out over you who seem to be very opinionated. So they come through in spirit, and it's sort of like, what is she doing? I don't know if you've been feeling almost like you're in a freeze. You're like a deer in the headlights. You're in a bit of a standstill. But we have a male coming through, watches over you in a protective way. We have some people watch over you in a parental way, a couple, a set of them, an uncle type, uncle brother type who may have passed a bit before his time as well, chest or lung related. And essentially what they're saying is that, you know, you have found yourself in a bit of a stalemate. This may involve your finances, or where you really want to go, where you really want to be. And there's some level of release going on here. I think that you have gotten a better understanding about your ultimate goals. And that was the first step in the right direction. That's what was required, was for you to figure out what you want for you, not for your kids, you know, not for I'm hearing like 401k. And I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. I'm just saying these are the things that should not be ruling over every decision that you make, right? Not in terms of like long-term stability, or I've been investing here in this thing, and so I don't want to leave it because I've been investing and that's the responsible thing to do. It's almost like you have to deprogram yourself, and you have to get all that out of the way, and you have to say, stop. What is within my life contract? What makes me feel passionate? What could I do that pours back into me? And I feel like the finances will also be there. Okay. So some change and transition starting to happen there, because you've gotten your goals more in place mentally. It's sort of like putting an Amazon order in. You have to get real specific. What brand, how many, what price? you know, through a company. It's like this whole thing. You can't just say randomly, you know, I want toothpaste mailed to my house. It's not going to work that way. The universe does nothing, or the universe sends you something you don't want. Okay. So if you haven't already perfected that goal list, get it straight. Also, residency change is on the table right now. So this could be domestic. This could also be a work environment, probably for you, both. Luda, what do I have coming in for you? Luda, I have some push for you to get out more. It's almost like music. I'm hearing music. I don't know if this is something specific to your culture, but these aren't typically the kind of instruments that I see in like mainstream, you know, rap or like rock and roll or alternative, you know. So anyways, I'm seeing a lot of stringed instruments and some interesting sounds. There is a pull to your roots. I want to say your ancestors, I want to say your higher mind is coming in to visit you through music and artwork and dance, song and creativity in order to get you more in alignment with your roots. And it seems like for a while you have been faking it. If you've been feeling like, well, I'm trying to have fun, I'm trying to be social, I'm trying to go out and have a good time, you know, I don't want to act like a hermit or be a hermit, but I really am not feeling connected to the activities I'm involving myself in that are supposed to be, or once were, legitimately uplifting for me. And that's okay. That's a growth spurt. You know, it's like puberty. You know, we rarely keep the same identical friend group or do the same things, you know, in a 4-year spurt of time. And just because you're an adult doesn't mean you're not still changing. And so this may be a good time for you to, again, get involved in music roots, your ethnic roots and cultural roots, any type of dance and artistic ability. But also I'm getting book clubs. Do you have to join a book club? No, but you know, what do you want to know about? What do you want to read about? You know, where is your mind feeling like inspired and juicy? You know, and those are your new people as well. Okay, so get into the books, but it's time for some fresh entertainment at the very least. Thank you, Luda. We're going to move on to Carrie Watson. I do want to stop real quick. If you guys are tuning in a bit late, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Please do give this video a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. The best way to support me is here on YouTube at Ask Ivy. And this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop a $10 donation, and I am delivering out whatever the most important message is for you to hear right now. If you want to book a private reading with me, a psychic fair, or a party, you can go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, okay, or to learn mediumship yourself. All right, Carrie Watson, what do I have for you? I have you getting frustrated. I have you telling someone it's almost like smacking a fly with a frying pan. I don't even know what that means. Okay, but like there's this sense of like, get away from me. I don't want to hear this again. If someone has done you dirty, if someone has betrayed your trust, if someone is like a record on repeat, telling you the same nonsense over and over again, you're starting to see this person or this situation as a clown, as a circus. And as many times as you may want to say, not my circus, not my monkeys, it is if you bought a ticket to the show, it is if you're the ringleader, it is if you're showing up and you're saying like, I don't know how I got here. I don't know where the exit is, you know. I guess it's your tent, you know, it's almost like you made your bed. Now you have to lie in it, you know. I think that what's happening here, though, is I'm hearing retraction. And you do have a grandfather who comes through, possibly dad. Is this dad? This may be more like dad. You have a gentleman coming through a paternal way, dark hair, 6'1", okay, kind of lean. He is no nonsense about this. And he's talking about you retracting yourself. You have to start pulling out of situations that put you in a repeat cycle like a mouse on a wheel. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Emily, what am I getting for you? Emily, I feel like it's time for money. You know, it's about damn time for some money. I have sort of like, you know, your ancestors and your guides and your angels all coming around. And it almost reminds me a little bit of the Mad Hatter's tea, you know, so Alice in Wonderland, like I fell down a rabbit hole here. But you may have fallen in the last couple of years almost like down rabbit holes. You started inventing things in your life and really showing up and focusing on creation and making big changes. Like, even if they don't seem huge on the outside or in the larger scheme of things, they were a big deal to you. And you've brought your A game to it. And now it's almost like everybody wants to sit with you and just watch the butterflies and the hummingbirds and have tea. Tea is a symbol of prosperity. Spoons are a symbol of prosperity. Honey is a symbol of prosperity. Okay. You're just finally reaping these blessings. Now, this has just really begun in the I'm hearing 2. Could it be 2 weeks? It could. I'm feeling it more in the last like 2 days or so, meaning you're starting to really feel it. Okay. But it has been here the last couple of weeks, coming in closer and closer and closer. And now that we go forward, you have to ask the question when you sit here sort of at this Mad Hatter's tea, you know, of like, where am I going next? What does this mean now? And we don't want to get burdened with those types of questions. We want to stay in the same consistent energy that you've been in the whole time. It's almost like if you get up on a ladder, you're climbing a mountain. Have you ever climbed a mountain and like someone says like, don't look down, and then you do, and you're pretty sure you're going to like fall to your death? It's kind of like that. It's like, don't look down. Okay. Just keep in the energy and trust and have faith that you have a net, that you're going in the right direction. These blessings and this karmic payout is the universe's way of cheering you on and reminding you that you do know what you're doing, okay? Even if you weren't supported, even if it looked kind of crazy, even if it looked like you were, you know, flying by the seat of your pants. And this is going to be an exciting time for you, okay? You earned it. Enjoy. Bette Davis, what am I getting for you? I feel like you're being a little bit pushed by what feels like grandparents, deceased loved ones, parental energies, someone who feels like an auntie or sister type, as well, who may have had a cancerous condition or smoked. I think that what they're trying to do with you is remind you, not that you gotta go, as much as it's like you have support. You know, if you've been feeling a little isolated, or you've been feeling lonely, or you feel like the people you've lost in life can't be replaced, that's fair, that's valid. Or that the people in your life maybe don't support you in exactly the way that you need, okay, but you also don't really ask for it in the way that you need, nor are you expanding out in any massive way, you know, to meet new people. I think that you need more support. Ultimately, how you go about getting that or doing that is entirely up to you, but they're encouraging you to do it one way or another. And I feel like if there are changes, especially with your finances, your residency, or in regards to relationship dynamics, you've been wanting to make where you're kind of cutting loose the old or getting rid of the weight, now would be the time. Elvin Ramos, what am I getting for you, Elvin Ramos? You know, I feel like you are kind of lurching around, like kind of angry. You're kind of, you know, I see you're like, what is that hunchback of who's the hobbit in the tower? You look pissed, you know, you look pissed and like irritated from carrying weight on your back, weight on your shoulders. And I want to say like rightfully so. But also that's your responsibility to manage that. And the bigger lesson of whatever this is that you've been going through, in particular the last 4 months, it peaked at 8 months back, between the 8th and the 9th month back in time. Okay. So it may have happened in the 9th month. It started to really peak in the 8th month. And then again, 4 months ago, whatever's happening here, if it's starting to cripple out your ability to stay well balanced, to sleep, to eat healthy, to have a positive mindset, I think it's the type of thing that needs to be evaluated. And you need to not force yourself to do better, have a better attitude, right? That's toxic positivity. But we do have to, whenever we're going through something that is the long game, you're playing chess, not checkers, right? It's the long fight that you're in. You have to periodically stop and say, these tools aren't working for me anymore, okay? What did work at one point and help me relieve some stress is like not at all it. and I need something stronger, and it can't be drugs and alcohol. You know, it needs to be something that I'm hearing performative. I don't know if you need to get involved in things that are more active, like theater or dance or movement or drumming, or, you know, there needs to be more speech. You need energy flow. If you have been trying to consume things or just minimize your stress, you know, by staying calm, you are beyond that now. Now it's time to put your energy out, and whatever you engage in, if it is of high vibration, if it's in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, it's going to bring the healing to you. Okay. So enough of this hibernation. You cannot do this in a vacuum as much as you planned to. That ship has sailed. Okay. On to the next level. Shauna Dempsey, what am I getting for you? I don't know if you're thinking about running your own business, but I'm getting entrepreneurship, independent contracting, consultant work. It feels like CEO. You know, I am heading this thing up. Even if I am the CEO, like I will eventually be completely taking it over, doing my own thing, you know, expanding off of this. It's almost like you've been learning stuff from the bottom up. And at this point, you are in a unique position to launch. You are in a unique position to be seen as the brand. And what I mean by the brand is that often when we're doing well in any line of work, it doesn't have to be business ownership, but often when we're doing well, it's because we have a skill set. You know, we've proven through patterns of success that we're good at something. You know, maybe people think we have the right tools. Okay. You know, but that only goes so deep. Being seen as the brand means that people will recognize you now and going forward as someone who has character and integrity on top of all that other stuff that I just mentioned. When you put the two together, it's almost like a handshake. Back in the day, someone's handshake or their word or their name meant everything, right? People would buy, you could sell ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. Essentially, where you're headed, people will buy whatever you're giving out, okay? So this is no time to hesitate. And Esmeralda agrees. You want to come up? You can come up. Okay. Did we all say hi? Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everybody. Say hi. She did that earlier. She does one trick per day for me. She let me kiss her the other day. I could not believe it. This is a cat. It took 3 years for her to sit next to me on the couch, not on my lap, next to me on the couch, right? She was a street cat. And she won't let me, I still can't pick her up really, and I can't like come at her face. But she started letting me kiss the top of her head, and last week our noses touched for the first time. Unbelievable, right? Not today, but it happened, and I am confident it will happen again someday. All right, hopefully it won't take 8 years. Okay, Tanya, where are we going? Let me have my pen though, Ezzy. Okay, Tanya R. What do I have coming in for you? I feel like this is a time for you to speak your truth. Clear your throat chakra. A, you either haven't been speaking your truth, or B, you did and it was disrespected, disregarded. Nothing changed. So it's time to set boundaries. It's time to maybe within those boundaries, if they were already set, walk away. That's the next step. You cannot stay in that loop. But people are below you. And I don't want to sound like a bitch, okay? But there are levels to everything. There is a hierarchy to everything. And some people have skills and some people don't. And it's a fact of life. And we can, you know, talk in circles and try to work around it or try to be nice, but this is time for you to be the boss. This is time for you to take control, and that may involve eliminating some things that you had previously been involved in, or people that you were working with who just, they're not up to speed. You know, I feel like for you, a lot of this has to do with your astrology. And so you may want to look at your planets, you may want to look at the houses, and you may want to say, okay, listen, here's the bottom line. You know, I'm going through a growth spurt. I have been for a long time. I've tried to deny it and hold it down for the last 2 years, but I cannot shrink myself. I will not shrink myself. And if these things are moving for me, I want to be able to move along with them. And it's kind of like sometimes you just have to say goodbye to the past, you know, and understand that not everything is up to your level. And if it isn't now, it probably never will be. All right. If they can't keep up with you now, come on. All right. Moving on to a Jill Marie. Jill Marie, what do I have for you? You know, I have you taking a microphone, and this is a symbol of speaking more of your wisdom, speaking more of your experience, speaking more of your truth. Now, your truth does not have to be embraced by anyone else. Your experiences do not have to be appreciated in the sharing of them, but it is coming from a place of wisdom. And what I mean by that is that you've gone through a lot, especially in the last 7 years. And this is the end point, okay? This is the pivotal point. This is the turning point. What do I mean by pivotal point? Everything is coming to a head within the upcoming ballpark week and a half. I would even say a week. And I'm hearing Thursday in particular, some of this will come to the forefront. We're talking skeletons in the closet, unfinished business, stuff swept under the carpet, things put up on a shelf collecting dust, conversations that haven't been had, conversations that haven't been completed. And it could come along with some opportunities, doors of opportunity that you didn't have the keys for before. Now you do. All right. But you can't get one without the other. We have to be willing for you to pick up that microphone and to speak your truth. You may be doing this with family. You may be doing this with, I want to say, people who feel a need to come around you chaotically and expect you to just be the old you, who you were 7 years ago, you know, who you even were a couple months ago. And that's just not the storyline anymore. Okay. So you're saying, this is my experience and this is how I see things. And you, quite frankly, seem a little cold-hearted about it in the way that you don't care how that lands. You don't care if they respond. You don't care how they respond. You are just, it's almost like, I said it, drop the mic, and I'm out. Okay. And hold to it. Hold yourself to it. And then hold the line, because no one appreciates that. All right, Lucy, moving on to Lucy. Lucy, what am I getting for you? Got a bunch of people buzzing around you. I think these are like men who want to date. And I feel like, come at me with sincerity and authenticity, or don't come at me at all, you know? And I don't like that they're coming from behind you. If somebody cannot approach you face to face, eye to eye, that's an automatic no for me. Okay. We shouldn't have men approaching you, or potential love partners approaching you from also the left side, which is the past. It can mean that they're stuck in the past, that they have Peter Pan syndrome, that they haven't let go of their past. I mean, you're really going to want to ask of the next two people who come in here wanting to date you and showing a lot of interest in your life, and even being an active listener and wanting to heal your heart. And, oh, tell me how it's been. You know, I mean, they really put on quite a show. You're really going to want to say things like, oh yeah, I've been through a lot. You know what else I've been through? Therapy. Have you been? Okay. When was the last time you went to therapy? How did that go? What have you learned in the last 5 years? Tell me about your last 3 relationships and what you got out of that, how you've changed and grown and taken accountability and learned what not to get involved in. You know, it's like turning the tables and questioning them, right? Because they want to get super intimate super quick. They better be able to prove that they belong there. I think that ultimately you're going to say no and no, and you're going to be swinging that sword and kind of, you know, chopping them off by the knees. It's like the Queen of Swords, like off with their heads, emotionless and cold, as you should be, and on to the next. So don't let them hold you back. Okay. You have a lot of business coming up in progression, especially with work and money. And it would be best if your focus is there right now, no matter who's trying to come in and grab up your attention. And definitely don't sleep with them early on, because like they can't even really get it up. It's not even going to be good. Okay. All right. Eileen on TikTok. Let's see what's going on. Eileen on TikTok. You know, you have a lot of money to transfer right now, Eileen. And I think it's really important that you're taking into consideration what ultimately you want to have. Like, what would be the best investments? So if you are moving money, if you are moving resources of any kind, this could include your skill set. So this would be like starting a new position, or applying for a new position, or starting your own, you know, project or business. If you are moving your resources in general over, it's important that even if you feel a little bit nervous about it, you are noticing that you have this sort of fire in the belly, meaning you're kind of, you know, excited about the way it feels in alignment with your life contract and your life purpose. It's going to be pouring back into you. This is going to go somewhere. I can feel it in my bones. I'm supposed to do this. And you are also making like taking calculated risks, making calculated decisions here. Ultimately, I feel like what you want is attainable. It is achievable, and we can really get there sooner than what you think. So if you've like a 5-year plan, I think some of it could come in at 2 years out from now. You're going to get some breaks, okay, from things that are happening in society. And so as long as you keep your eye on the prize, we're going to get there. But this is a time to boldly, move and transition your resources over to where you feel in your gut they need to be. Chica Deb, what am I getting for you? Chica Deb. It's almost like someone tried to outsmart you and they're not very smart. I think it's funny. I mean, I think it's funny. I don't think you thought it was funny, but it's funny that people think they're smarter than what they are. And then they come up against someone like you and it's like a joke. Okay. So I do see this as like a game of checkers. Maybe they think they're playing chess, right? And they can't even play checkers. It's that type of a situation. So I do have somebody coming in who's trying to manipulate a situation to get you to feel lesser than or to push you down. This is also coming up in the future a bit and in your free will zone. So some of this hasn't even happened yet, and you're going to want to watch and be mindful. I would say be careful also of people in your inner circle. So we're talking about love partners. We're talking about people that you're more intimate with. This could be happening as a general theme for you, not just like at work, or someone tried to outsmart you. This is about people thinking that you aren't going to say anything. This is about people misreading you and your power and determination to get to a power position in the world, and to think they could minimize your strengths in order for your self-esteem to like be in the toilet and you to not make moves, okay, in your life to level up. And that is not at all who you are trying to be, who you see as your future self. This is not true anymore also in regards to their ability to convince you of that, which says to me that you've been going through some significant deprogramming. So anything you've been doing with your self-esteem, any way you've been limiting yourself, any way that you've been overreaching, overgiving, and not getting paid for it, whether it be reciprocity in a relationship or dealing with a lover who has a way of like never really complimenting you, or not being consistent or making you feel like you're worth the time of day, or this be, contracts that used to be like, okay, that's enough negotiating. I'm uncomfortable. I should just count my blessings. All of that is dead, done, over with. Moving on to Kaimara Grigori. Kaimara Grigori, what do I have coming in for you? I have a wave of water. Like if I were at the ocean and like this wave were to come, I would be like, I'm gonna drown, like I'm gonna die, because you feel like when the water pulls back, it'll pull you with it. I don't care what you think or how strong a swimmer you are. When that tide goes back, it will, pull you with it. But I don't have you panicking about it at all. I have you basking in it. I have you enjoying it. I have, those days of you feeling as though you have to hold on to things, shrink yourself, limit yourself, are gone. That's a story from yesterday. You almost don't even recognize the old you, so as this wave comes, it is symbolic of cleansing. It's symbolic of being fluid as you go forward. It's symbolic also of being harmonious and one with nature, because only a surfer would appreciate this kind of wave sneaking up on them like that. And you are, you're surfing with, surfing the tide. I don't know. I don't surf, but it's like, you're riding the waves. And you're ready to do so, I feel like, for the rest of your life. You may also have some money coming in, and this may have just happened or it's brewing. If you haven't received it yet, it's literally right here, which is like recent past touching on your present timeline. There may be money coming in. Now, any type of money that's coming in for you, this could also be looking like, a promotion with your work type of a situation. This is going to be the kind of money that you can build upon, and it sets you free. And so you're no longer sort of weighed down by like, what about these bills? What about my future? Where should I would love to invest, but I don't have anything. It's hand to mouth, or it's like, even Steven, you know, those days are also gone. And so this is a period of time for you to really consider where ultimately you want to be in the next, I would say, you know, ballpark 2 to 3 years, and start, you know, putting your money where your mouth is, especially in regards to residency. Jeremy G. Jeremy G, what am I getting with you? If you guys haven't already done so, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for being here. Drop a comment of any kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm. Jeremy G, you know, I feel like you want to be in a position of leadership. I feel like you want to be in either business ownership, or you feel like you should be in a greater position of management. You feel like when you show up to a job, you show up to any type of a situation where there's a lot going on, even if people are just horsing around, it's like a party. You know, you have a way of showing up and really bringing your A game. You have the engineer's mind, so you understand how systems fit together, which means you also understand how some systems are being ran in a dysfunctional manner, and you could see how they would better run. So when you come into a situation, you've got the answers, you've got the solutions, you see all the moving parts, and you're starting to recognize more of that within yourself and say, maybe I'm not in as great a power position as I would like to be, because I'm not embracing that. I'm not showcasing that. I'm not advertising that. You may have even thought at one point, you know, well, isn't everybody kind of able to do this? No, nope, no. And so what do you want to do with it? If you look at something like the engineer's mind, or your ability to take on leadership roles, or your ability to accurately explain the way something needs to be done, which is a communication skill, a teaching or training skill, you could say. If you look at those things, you kind of marry those worlds and you say, I am going to showcase myself as being this more, and I'm going to go out and go after, you know, the positions that I really want, that I know I'm deserving of. You're going to get them. But at this point, you're just kind of like taking the crumbs that have fallen on the ground. I also wonder if some people promised you things, or you thought you were going to be in a better position than what you are right now. But within the last, you know, 2 years, it's sort of like that's not happening. Okay. And so it's sort of like a time's up type of an idea. Take the bull by the horns. Jessica M. Jessica, what am I getting with you? You know, the first thing I'm getting is like ballerina feet. And I don't know if you dance. I mean, that's very specific, but ballerina feet or dancing feet can mean that you're in a period of time right now where you can dance through life. You can make it look easy. Ballerinas have a way of looking almost like ducks on the water, right? Like they're gliding. But if you look at a duck's feet, it's paddling really, really hard, okay? If you look at a ballerina's feet, if you've ever taken off those ballet shoes, I mean, it's horrifying what their feet look like. I would never trade positions. I think that what's happening here is you've already put in a lot of hard work. And right now you are able to glide through some situations. It may still be somewhat stressful, but you're almost like mature. You're like an elder in it. Okay. You know what you're doing. And I think that people are going to start saying to you, you make it look so easy. You make everything you do look so beautiful. You know, when you speak, people want to listen, and they don't know what it took for you to get there. But you do. And you may be feeling as though you have more stories to tell about that journey. You may also want to help other people get to a place where they can become a beautiful gliding ballerina, you know, like Swan Lake or whatever. It's like you may want to start educating other people or counseling on how they can achieve what they need to. But this may also be a process for you where you're pulling back a little bit and you're deciding not to give so much of your time, attention, energy, and affection to people or situations that really don't appreciate what you've been through. They really don't get, especially in like love or intimate partnerships, they really don't know what it took to get there. Okay. And they never had to go through those hardships, and they don't really kind of care. Okay. So it's like, okay, I will put on this beautiful performance for people who do. We're going to move on to Jed C. Jed C. What am I getting for you? Business, 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 business. Should I take this contract? What is this behind me? 3 different contracts behind you, 2 of the same, 1 of different. If you are in some type of business ownership, entrepreneurship, independent contracting, consultant work, whatever it is, this could even be a company that you work for, but you may work for like multiple companies. Take it how it resonates. There are 2 different approaches coming at you here to the recent past that are the same and 1 that is different. And it's almost like you're looking at everything and you're saying, what is the value? What is of the greatest value? The only way to really know the answer to this officially, like we want the real answer, the true answer, you know, is to look forward and to say, okay, well, ultimately, you know, where do I see it going? Where will it land? And there's some talk of patterns here. Now, what this can mean is that in order to accurately judge where it will go, you need to pay attention to the patterns that are already behind it, or looking at things that are similar to it and saying, okay, this is the highest likelihood that this will be the pattern going forward. I also feel like you've got one of these 3 is approaching in a sort of chaotic manner, and maybe one that's connected to the other one. So I don't know that you can have them separately, but it's almost like they come and it's a rush. It's like a hurry up, or you feel like you have to make a decision very quickly. You know, it's like a time sensitive kind of thing. Are you going to sign on or not? And I think this is an important time for you to, to be reserved and to remember that you hold the strongest hand at the table. Okay. So I don't care how big they are or how long they've been around. It's like, if this were a poker game, you've got a really strong hand and you're not putting your cards down until you feel that it is time. Okay. So you may be slowing your roll a little bit on some of this, but I do feel business advancement, as long as you are contributing to things that are definitely going somewhere, not just treading water, because there is some of that going on here as well. Okay. Yes, I love you. And Kamara, you're welcome. Lucy, you're welcome. Jill. Okay. Do we still have more coming in, or are we at time? Okay. Emily, you're welcome. Okay. So we just have like people asking questions now. I'll go ahead and take that question. That's okay. I'll wrap it up, I guess. If we're not waiting on anyone else, I don't know. Let me know. I could stay a little longer, Jill, if we do have others. But Christina B says, I'm trying to get through hardships. Do my angels and guides have any advice for me? Well, you know, I think that one of the things you need to be doing right now, Christina, is not looking to everyone else. Okay. So it's like, I'm not looking to my angels, I'm not looking to my guides, I'm not looking to the universe, I'm not looking to my loved ones, I'm not looking to my deceased loved ones or my, you know, my ancestors. It's like, who am I and what am I capable of doing? It's like, what am I made of? You know, what in me is untapped? Where's the ferocious beast in you? You know, because I know it's in there, but it's sort of like taking a nap. You are supposed to be right now looking at your own strengths, and you're supposed to be coming with an almost fierce attitude at things in life, from protecting your sanity to protecting your energy, to keeping people who are toxic out of your personal space, which means we're not responding to texts and whatnot. And to strengthening your mind, because it seems like you get in loops and it's like, okay, what should I be focused on? You know, well, your goals, manifestation, not getting caught up in negative cyclical patterns of thought, you know, control your mind. This is a time for you to strengthen yourself, because no one else is going to come in and sort of rescue you and give you answers to all of this. It's in you. Okay. It's a time to mature. You're coming out of this an elder. Okay. If you do the work. All right. We will have another show coming up I may start doing shows once a week. Please drop a comment of any kind. Oh, you guys, let me know where you tuned in from. Okay. I'm trying to sort of collect and understand better. Let me know if these messages also resonated with you, even though maybe you didn't ask for the message, but it was a collective message. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Any other show ideas you would like to see me do. And if you are interested, I may start doing 1 show per week. And so let me know in the comments if that's something you guys would attend. I have another show coming up, though, I think scheduled in about 2 weeks. I believe it's my Dear Ivy show. It could be my Ask Ivy show where I take your questions. Okay. But in the meantime, if you need to book a personal reading with me, I do work internationally, super simple self-booking system. Anywhere you are in the world, we're going to make it work. And you can also book a psychic fair or a party with me. Go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Jill.